I'm gonna like portray, in my opinion, and of course I'm in it, in the good light of it, what a real man of the times of a responsibility and an ascending man, a contributing man to society for the growth and evolution of our species, how he thinks on a certain subject. So if I have no woman, okay, any woman that is with another dude around me is ineligible, okay? Certain, like classes of females, okay, between age, family relation, um, certain ones that you could see that you don't get a good vibration with are off limits too, okay? Then you wait, okay? And then when you do find love, because I can't do sex unless I have love there, okay? And, that's why things aren't the same for me. But, like, and instinctually, any woman around, okay, because it does seem scarce, even though the count is like, oh, there's 11 or 7 women and 1 man. It's BS because how old are they? And the men are dying easier. So there's a lot of older, like, probably 90-year-old women more than men, I would say. So, like, let's, like, reality look at the count. But so any woman that's not with someone and in an eligible situation for breeding in an instinctual manner, because we have to consider that we are animals at a point, becomes a a prospect of focus in a situation like, okay, if I'm a man on the world and there's woman and there was only woman left, because men think like this, I imagine women do to agree as well. So when thinking like that, that's how the your audience and the group around you is categorized. So with that, okay, the only way for a man like me or a real man to get with even that girl, female, he has to spend time and know her first, because he has to form a love for her. Because urges don't last, or else I would crap my pants and I would never stop eating once I sat down once. And what would that lead to? Okay. So I can't do like the one night stand thing. And if there are a lot of people that say that as well, and they say I used to say that, well, maybe the drinking was too much, and that's why a man like me doesn't drink as much, or hardly at all, honestly, or partake in other substances that would make two people want to melt together. So, you know, it's a responsibility of being a man as well. Okay, as well as an example to other men, knowing that the age bracket and the women apply in this area, which, okay, anyone in adult age, not with someone that's got a acceptable vibration, becomes a candidate in an instinctual setting, okay, that has to apply like across the board. So, uh, in doing so, you know that your son could go with an older woman just as much as your father could go with a younger woman. So, the one night stand thing becomes a little bit infringing on the course of betterment for our society. And yes, I accept people's urges, as I do have my own urges. So there could be circumstances with legal settings deleting substance with these settings where some people that have an insatiable appetite, I don't want to see trafficking. I don't want to see prostitution in the streets and stuff like that, because it amounts to bad things, because people take advantage of those things, and then it leads to everything else because people like to chew on each other. So those people become vulnerable to the, the higher level society people that want to crush people, because their insatiable appetite to make money and have these lavish experiences runs out. They get bored of them. So then the only thing left is people. I mean, you know, you know how that goes. You see it, especially today on, media, what's going on, recordings and stuff, and trials. But a real man is almost like there's birds, okay? There's the coots. An old, past friend of mine had a house, and there was coots in the backyard that were in the lake, okay? And then there were ducks of all kinds and roosters and even chicken-looking birds in the front yard and on the streets, okay, because they were roaming around. So what happened is the ducks and the chickens and the roosters, whatever, they would just be tearing it up. They would be like having an orgy in the dude's yard, in the dude's right in front of his door when the feeding time would come. It was just crazy. And then all the females has rough, the back of their necks were all plucked of feathers. Okay, now I'm like, ugh. So in the back is the coots, where these birds, they get together, and I believe they have one partner for life. They make one baby, okay, and they make a nest together that floats, and then they take care of that baby and they raise that baby together, and there's like a little family of three birds. It's so excellent, man. And then like that baby grows up, and then I got to see like another family like across the lake of coots, and then their little baby, a son or daughter, like now little ducks are getting together, and then there's like four ducks, and then there's six ducks out. It was like really awesome. So like that's how you got to look at it. So who's going to survive in that example put before me by the universe to see about these decisions in a world where temptation and urges and deficits and starvation and drought, and we're walking in the desert of society because people aren't communicating. And that's why I'm on here, is because there's no people around, and half the ones are, they're not programmed to go along with that narrative of caring about each other. And believe it or not, at the basis of American frontier, the new frontier of America, it was probably right mid 70s, right, and it lasted, that era lasted to probably the end of the 90s. And people had a sense of community care that was higher than it is now and better than it ever was back then, before those times. So that's my calling on it. Mid 70s, right straight up to the end of the 90s, we had people in a functioning society caring about each other and growing with each other until they took two things out of schools and workplaces and public businesses and public agencies, which is the Pledge of Allegiance and the G word. I'll let you figure that out. This way I'm not offending anybody, because it is just a word that describes the same thing we're talking about. Truth and good things in all the colors of life. Oh, isn't the horizon looking very enlightened today?